What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's challenge, you guys know the challenge, we're back on the mono-type wheel and I thought we were making progress, we still have a lot left. So our wheel today, we're going to have flying type Pokemon. So I was kind of excited for doing this because there's a lot of versatility with flying type Pokemon. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. Anyways, if you guys don't know what we're doing today, we're playing on Radical Red, which is one of the hardest Pokemon ROM hack of all time. We're playing on a 4.0 update, which is the newest update and probably the hardest update, in which we're playing hardcore mode, which means there's a lot of limitations on what we can and can't have on our team. We can't have setup moves specifically. We can't have certain Pokemon. We can't have like a lot of things, you know, a lot of abilities and whatnot. We do get infinite rare candies just so we can level up a Pokemon, just in case we want to use a lot of different Pokemon, which in these challenge videos for mono-type videos we do use a lot of Pokemon, so it's great for us to use, and I think that should cover everything. It's very difficult. Radical Red hardcore mode, if you're watching this video you probably know what Radical Red hardcore mode is anyways, but besides that, a fun rule for my challenge video that I'll do in every single video, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after your future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully your pictures. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we just need the Dex all cheat just to get all the Dex Nav encounters on our Dex Nav, and then we could go out and catch a bunch of flying type Pokemon. You might be realizing why I didn't choose Charmander, because Charmander evolves into Charizard, which is a fire and flying type. I just forgot and I just kind of pressed the A button and I was too lazy to go back. So we'll get it later on. We'll get a Charizard later on. But to start off our team, we actually got a Noctowl and a Pidgeotto, which is kind of weird to have. We also get a Spearow, which is going to be one of my favorite Pokemon later on. And of course, Starly. You can't go wrong with a Starly. We move on into Viridian Forest, where we're going to clear through the first boss trainer pretty easily. And then the second boss trainer is a bug type one. So we're able to clear through that one as well. We also have a Wattrel on the team, which is an electric fly type Pokemon from Paldea. And it's supposed to be really good. And I'm kind of iffy on it. I'm really not liking it. So if you guys do know how to make it better, just let me know, because I'm not really good. So we might reuse it in the electric only challenge, but until then, we're gonna go into the egg merchant up here and we're gonna try to restart. Actually realizing that, how am I supposed to get through the electric monotype? Because I think Pikachu's one. Pikachu, Joltik. It's going to be a lot difficult. I got to think about that when I get to that. But either way, we're going to get ourselves a Rookidee through this egg merchant, which is going to be cool. We get the hidden abilities because they hatch from the egg. And from there, we're going to move on and face off against Faulkner in the first mini boss fight. We're able to clear him down pretty easily with our Staravia, because this thing is just a monster. From there, we're going to face off against Brock. And Brock, I mean, we beat Brock with flying type Pokemon, so I think we could probably beat him with electric type Pokemon. We'll have to see, but we lose against Brock for a good 20 minutes. Like, it's pretty painful. But from there, we're going to face off against Brock. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Noctowl. We're going to put the Lunatone to sleep, even though I missed one time. That's fine. I'm just going to attack the Lilith once he switches out his Lunatone and just sacrifice my Noctowl. I really wish it did more, but that's about the extent of his usage. I went out to my Ninjas just to sack him, apparently. Just want to get more chip on the Lilith, because that thing's pretty tanky. I go out into my Staravia to get more chip on the room, and I'm just getting chip on everyone. Everyone's getting down to low HP somewhat. And from there, my Staravia is going to go down against the Arkin, and then I go out into my Wattrel. I think it's a Wattrel, something like that. Anyways, Wattrel is getting knock out the Cacnea for us, which is really nice. He then switches out to his Hippopotas, which I go out into my Beautifly. I take a Toxic because I have Pekka Berry, and then Mega Drain to one-shot the Hippopotas. From there, he's going to switch out into his Arkin, which I go out into the Norbats just to sack him, so I get a free switch into my Wattrel. Wattrel will knock out the Arkin and also knock out the room for us with a Paralyze, which is huge. I'm able to knock out the room, and then from there, he switched out into his Leap. I'm able to pluck into him. Ooh, does not knock him out. So I gotta go out to my Beautifly, but it works out as I'm able to Air Slash, knock out the Leap, and then his final Pokemon will be a Sleeping Lunatone from the start. I go for a Signal Beam, and my team clutched up pretty well, surprisingly. So we're able to beat down Brock, and now we could get the first gym badge. From there, we have a bunch of access to a bunch of new Pokemon since with the level cap increased, and we're able to evolve new Pokemon. We're able to evolve our Spearow into a Fearow, and this is probably one of my favorite Pokemon for this challenge because it's Technician boosted Fearow with quick attack and do wing beat. so it's gonna be really fun to use. We also get a magic card which evolves to a Gyarados, which is not traditionally a bird. It's still a flying type, so Gyarados is on our team, which is really nice. You know how good Gyarados is. From there, we start using Gyarados and Fearow, and it starts sweeping down people. It's so fun to use. We beat the scientists in Mount Moon and also use our Fearow against Archer, which is, look at that, Archer gets cooked up by Fearow. Super nice. From there, we do a bunch of raid dance, and then we go into the Egg Merchant, and we get a Tropius, which it's a grass and flying type. Definitely a flying type Pokemon. I was very confused because I haven't seen Tropius in like years. But anyways, we got a Tropius, and we're going to face off against Misty. Misty is going to be a bit of a pain. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Tropius, which is going to force her to go into her Toxicroak, which we're able to predict with Staravia, and Staravia is able to knock out with a dual Wing Beat. From there, she's going to switch out into her Mantime, and I want to save my Staravia, switch out into my Tropius, and then go for a Leaf Storm. That's about the extent of its usefulness. That's about it. I go out to my Fearow, and Fearow is able to double hit it with Technician boosted. With also Stab boost, it's able to knock him down and outpace the Roost. So we're able to knock him down to low HP, and then Quick Attack to knock out the Mantine, which is kind of funny. I'm not sure why it just didn't attack me. She goes out to her Starmie, which will get knocked out with my double hit and a Quick Attack as I survive a Thunderbolt. From there, I get a Quick Attack off against the Politoed, which is fine. And then I'm going to switch out into my Beautifly. Beautifly is able to catch the Clocksire with a Stun Spore and chip it down with Air Slash. Doesn't do too well with chips. I go out to my Gyarados, and Gyarados is able to Ice Fang and knock out the Clocksire. And then a Ludicolo comes out. I'm going to save my Gyarados because there is a Politoed in the back. I go out to my Crobat, which is pretty cool. I have a fully evolved Crobat. I'm able to do some chip against the Ludicolo and then survive a Thunder Punch against him with my Gyarados to knock out the Ludicolo with Thrash and also the Politoed, which after that we're able to secure the second gym badge in the game, which is very easily. From there, we can make our way into the Nugget Bridge, which we have a bunch of fully evolved birds over here, and we're able to clear through them pretty easily. We'll also go out and face off against this trainer, making our way into Vermilion City, and then one last Egg Merchant for the road as we get ourselves a hidden ability Fletching, which is going to be really nice because that's going to be Gale Wing's Talonflame later. We also go into the SSN, clear through the water trainer in here, which wasn't too difficult. It's actually first try. I like that. From there, we're going to face off against Lieutenant Surge. Next, Lieutenant Surge is going to be the electric gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Talonflame to just Flare Blitz into his Rotom Frost. Make sure I kill him because that's the point of it. From there, he's going to switch out into his Raichu, which I go out into my Gligar to pivot into... No, I just stay in, I guess. I stayed in Bodos into the Raichu. It gets a crit on him, and then I'm really thinking about switching out. I switch out into my Fearow. I survive a Surf, and then Quick Attack to knock out the Raichu. From there, Fearow's like, I know this Electrode is going to attack me. So I go out to my Tropius, which I know from there I could bait into an explosion. So I go out to my Staraptor, which intimidates him and then allows me to survive an explosion. From there, he's going to switch out into his Palnut, which I get a Quick Attack off against. Well, no, I just switch out into my Tropius, and then I sack my Tropius just to reset the Intimidate. Get my Quick Attack chip on a Palnut, and then switch out into my Talonflame to get some more Quick Attack, and then another Quick Attack with my Fearow would knock out the Palnut. And then from there, he's going to switch out to his Mega Ampharos, which I'm able to get a Drill Run off against, and then go out into my Gligar to knock him out. Super easy. And his final Pokemon will be a Hitmonlee. He's going to knock out my Gligar, but I have Kilowatt, I think it's Kilowatt. Kilowatt was knock out the Hitmonlee for us as we're able to beat down Lieutenant Surge. And now we're going to move on and we're going to face off against the Rock Tunnel, which is super easy. We're able to clear through the boss trainer in here and also in the route right after into Celadon City. This trainer wasn't too difficult at all. We have to beat him down on a first attempt as well. And then we can move on. We finally get ourselves a Charmander and evolve it into a Charizard, which is going to be really cool. I did not get the Mega Stone for him, which I can't remember if he does get Drought or not, if I Mega Evolve him or not. From there, we can move on and face off against Erica. We're going to actually restart a few times. So we want to flinch on the Cradily, and we're going to restart until we get it. We actually switched around. We got Corviknight with Iron Head, and we're able to Iron Head twice into the Cradily to get 2 flinches. Predict the Kartana to come out. We go into my Charizard to knock out the Kartana. Sack my Charizard against the Hawlucha. Go out into my Corviknight to 2-shot the Hawlucha, which lets me do it for some reason. From there, she's going to switch out to her Toxicity, which I have a Gliscor in the back. I dodged the Electric move, and I'm able to Bodos into him. And then from there, she can switch out into her Slowbro, which is kind of annoying. This thing's really tanky, and I don't really have a Pokemon to handle this thing. So I go out to my Talonflame, Flare Blitz multiple times to just chip it down. I'm okay with sacking my Talonflame as long as I knock out the Slowbro. And then I knock out the Slowbro. She goes out to her Sceptile, which is a Mega Sceptile. She doesn't kill me with Draco Barrage, as I'm able to get Flare Blitz off and burn it, which is kind of funny. The burn didn't matter, as I'm able to Quick Attack and knock out the Sceptile, also knock out the Cradily, and then finally her Toxicity would get knocked out with a Quick Attack as we're able to beat down Erica with my Staraptor. And then we can move on, face off against Giovanni, which is somehow easier than Erica. So from there, we can move on into the game corner, which we get 2 more Pokemon. We get 2 pseudo legendaries. We get ourselves a Dratini, which is going to evolve into a Dragonite, and also a Bagon into a Salamence. Both are dragon flying types. And yeah, they're not really birds, but they're really good, especially Dragonite, since it has multi-scale as a hidden ability, which should be really nerfed, but you didn't hear it from me. Don't give the creator some more ideas to make this game even harder. But anyways, we go into the Lavender Tower. We're able to get ourselves the Pokeflute, move out, and face off against a rival in the Silph, which we were able to clear through pretty nicely. I do say so myself. And then from there, we can move out and face off against Ariana and Archer, which, you know, was a little more difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of time facing off against them. From there, we face off against Giovanni, which is somehow a lot easier. We're gonna clear through Giovanni pretty easily, and then we're gonna have to do some more fine-tuning for our team. So we get ourselves a Togepi, evolve it into a Togetic, and then evolve it into a Togekiss, and then eventually we can go out, face off against Chuck, and get ourselves the Focus Sash, and then I think we're ready to face off against Sabrina. So we're gonna face off against Sabrina. We're gonna start the battle off against Sabrina using my Dragonite and Gyarados. We're gonna make sure the Tapu Fini goes for a Misty Explosion, and we're pretty sure we can survive one of them if the camera doesn't attack on one of the sides. So it didn't attack my Dragonite, so my Dragonite is able to survive. Aqua Tail to knock out the camera alongside the Misty Explosion. From there, she's gonna switch out to her Jellicent and also Iron Hands most of the time. So I go for Bodos and then Sucker Punch into the Jellicent to weaken the Water Spout, as it works pretty well, as the Iron Hands can knock out my Honchkrow. I'm able to survive Water Spout pretty easily, knock out the Jellicent, and then from there, she has Infinite Trick Room and also Misty Terrain, so it's pretty annoying. It's very difficult. So I go out to my Focus Sash Charizard, I go for one more Bodos with my Dragonite. I'm able to survive a Plasma Fist from the Iron Hands. Fortunately, my Dragonite can go down to a Moonblast, but I'm able to go for a Heat Wave and almost knock out the Magearna and also Iron Hands. At this moment, I'm going to go for my dual Wing Beat Gale Wings to knock out the Magearna and one more Heat Wave to knock out the Iron Hands, which works out pretty well. We knock out the Iron Hands, and then finally her last Pokemon will be a Glacier, which is going to be an Ice-type Pokemon. She's not going to actually mess around, so we can go for a Flamethrower and Iron Head. Make sure it works out pretty well as I'm in Blaze range and knock out the Glacier, as we're able to knock out Sabrina. And you know, it seemed a lot simpler in retrospect, but it took a little bit of time to fine-tune that strategy as we're able to beat down Sabrina, get ourselves the 5th gym badge in the game, and make our way into the Cycling Road, which we're able to clear through pretty easily. I realized I went into the assumption that everyone knows the battle terrain and the battle stipulations for every gym fight, so maybe I'll address each gym fight a little better. So you know, this is just like mid critique of my own video, but anyways, go through Cycling Road and then go into Fuchsia City, where we face off against Brendan with a bunch of legendary Pokemon, which still isn't good enough to beat us, as we make our way into the Safari Zone, get ourselves the HM for Surf and also Strength. And then from there, we have access to the move Relearner, actually not the Egg move Learner, which is going to be really cool. I don't think I use it too often, but from there, we're forced to rematch 4 gym leaders, the first 4 gym leaders we fought. So interestingly enough, it's a lot more difficult this time around. So we face off against Brock first. Brock this time specifically uses rock type Pokemon. It's constantly Sandstorm, and also it weakens super effective moves by like 25% or something like that. And we spent about 30-40 minutes on Brock. Brock is obviously, we have flying type Pokemon, so most of them are very weak to rock type Pokemon. We get very lucky at the end, and we're able to beat him down. We're actually able to avoid Stealth Rock, so we're able to survive through that. And then we beat Brock and got lucky. From there, against Misty, she has constant rain, but lucky enough, we have a secret in her back. We have Mega Aerodactyl now, which is going to be one of the fastest Pokemon possible, and it's a flying type Pokemon, so we're definitely going to have that on the team. As from there, we're going to face out against Erica, which is more of a detour. She has constant grassy terrain, which isn't too useful because her team isn't that great. We're able to cook Erica and then face off against Lieutenant Surge, which is a bit of a pain, but we have a lot of things to work against him, which is my Aerodactyl is actually pretty strong. He has constant electric terrain, and you can't use ground moves against him, so there's actually no point of bringing a ground type unless you want to use it as a pivot, which I do. We're able to luckily beat through Lieutenant Surge at the end, and finally, after you beat all 4 of them, you're able to access Koga's gym. I'm not sure why he thinks he's a big shot, and just you have to make sure you have to rematch those 4 gym leaders. But anyways, we can start the battle off against Koga in this psychic terrain mess, constant psychic terrain, and also he has constant tailwind, so no priority moves, and he's most likely faster than you. So we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Staraptor to Brave Bird, one-shot the Tapu Lele, sacrifice my Staraptor, which is fine, and then from there I switch out into my Togekiss to bait in the Toxicity. He's gonna go for an electric move. As I go out to my Gliscor, if I have a special defensive nature, I'm gonna survive it. Bodos knock out a Toxicity, and then he goes out to his Hoopa Unbound. I don't know why I was thinking about switching out. I'm gonna sack my Glide Score for sure. Go out to my Dragonite to Bodos into him so he lowers the speed, so Tailwind's negated. My Dragonite goes down. I go out to my Mega Aerodactyl, which is getting Stone Edge and knock out the Hoopa. And then from there, he's gonna switch out to his Nidoking. I'm able to survive one move, surprisingly. And so I'm able to Bodos and then Bodos again to outspeed him, to knock out the Nidoking. And then from there, he's going to switch out to his Crocodile. He is going to go for close combat 99% of the time. I go out to my Togekiss. I can soak up the damage from close combat and then survive a Stone Edge. Dazzling Gleam will one-shot him, which is surprising. And then from there, he goes out to his final Pokemon, would be a Shiyu. I sacrifice my Togekiss. I do have a Gyarados in the back to Bodos him, and that allows me to win the match essentially because Aerodactyl outspeeds him. But I'm able to knock him out with my Gyarados anyways, as we're ready to beat down Koga. And we also get the Life Orb from him, which we never use, so don't worry about that. We go out and face off against Price next. Price is a really strong trainer. He has constant hail up, which doesn't affect me for some reason. It doesn't really like touch me. I'm not sure what's wrong with the hail. We're able to beat down Price. And then moving on against Jasmine on Cinnabar Island, she has constant grassy terrain, and also you can't use fire moves against her, which is tough. She has a full steel team. We're able to beat her down pretty easily. From there, we're gonna face off against May. May's a bit of a trouble. For some reason, she has constant Magma Storm, so all your Pokemon will be Magma Storm, and you can't escape. And you also get passive damage on you. Super annoying, but we still got all these limitations sound ridiculous as I say them out loud. Because how am I supposed to beat the game like this? But we're able to get through them pretty easily. From there, we're going to face off against Blaine next. Blaine is going to be the 7th gym leader in the game. He has constant Desolate Land, which is constant Harsh Sun. Activates his Paradox Pokemon ability, which boosts their stats, and also nullifies any water moves you think of using. So you can't use any water moves. We start the battle off against him using my Tropius for some reason. We bait him in. We're going to force him into his Ho-Oh, which we Leech Seed. And then from there, I'm going to switch out into my Aerodactyl. I don't know how this works. I survive a Z move, which is great, and then from there I go for a Stone Edge. I knock him out, obviously, and then he's going to obviously go for a Phoenix mode, revive himself, and then thankfully he missed a Sacred Fire, which would have just killed me. I'm able to get some heal from the Leech Seed and then land us another Stone Edge to knock out the Ho-Oh. From there, he's going to switch out to his Great Tusk, which I'm like, you know what, works for me. I go out into my Togekiss, which will Air Slash and one-shot the Great Tusk. From there, he's going to switch out to his Sandy Shock, which I go out into my Glide Score. Glide Score is able to knock him out with 3 Bodos, and then roost up the damage. Works out pretty well. Goes out to his Walking Wake, which will knock out my Glide Score, but my Togekiss will knock him out pretty easily with... Obviously, Togekiss has the Choice Scarf on just so it could abuse the Air Slash Serene Grace. I go out to my Staraptor against the Venusaur. I survive a Weather Ball and then Brave Bird and Quick Attack to knock out the Venusaur. And his final Pokemon will be a Charizard, which will knock out my Staraptor as I got an Aerodactyl in the back. I also have a Dragonite in the back to make sure I knock him out anyway. So I'm going to Stone Edge and knock out the Charizard as we're ready to beat down Blaine. And yeah, moving on, we're going to go out to Cerulean Cave where we're going to face off against a bunch of Team Rocket members. Surprisingly, we face off against Archer. We beat him down again without losing a single Pokemon. Seems like he's too easy. And then against Ariana's Wailord, only thing we got to do is final gab with more Staraptor. I love Staraptor. This is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It just works out pretty well. It just knocks out the Wailord for us as we're ready to clear through Ariana. And we face off against Giovanni. And I'm getting really good at these Giovanni fights. All I need is a Dark type Pokemon as we're ready to clear him through. It's not our first attempt, but it's like 5 or 6 attempts later, but we're able to clear him through, which is really nice. And then from there, we're able to face off against Claire. The only stipulation she really has is she can't use fairy Pokemon against her, which is super annoying, so we can't use her Togekiss. But we start the battle off against her using my Aerodactyl. We're gonna go for an Iron Head, flinch him twice so we could avoid rock damage. We actually only flinch him once, but he goes out to his Necrozma, which I'm like, oof, that kind of sucks. I go for a Stone Edge again because I know it's gonna be Ultra Necrozma. I survive a Dragon Hammer and then knock him out with 2 Stone Edges. From there, she's gonna switch out to her Eternatus, which I go for Bodos to lower the speed, take a Dynamax Cannon, and then go out to my Corviknight for some reason. I didn't really think this one through as she goes out to her Duraludon, and then I sack my Corviknight. This was just a bad play, but it works out as I go out into my Honchkrow next to Sucker Punch and still not knock out the Duraludon. Okay, so I'm just throwing apparently. Go out to my Dragonite next, and Dragonite, lucky enough, has extreme speed to knock out the Duraludon. From there, she switches out into her Eternatus, which she lets me get a bunch of Bodos off. I don't know why. I should have gone for... I don't know why. I was really confused. I was like, should I go for Dragon Rush? And I was like, I guess not. And then finally I go for Dragon Rush as she's about to knock me out. And then from there, she can switch out to her Magearna. I go for Bodos. Activates her weakness policy. I go for Extreme Speed because I know it's going to knock me out. But then I go out to my Glide Score, which has a Focus Sash on. She goes for Shift Gear. And then from there, I outspeed her, possibly. I'm not too sure. From there, she switched out to her Shuckle. And I'm able to just Bodos that thing down as it doesn't have anything else to do besides Stealth Rocks. We knock out the Shuckle. and then she goes out to a Roaring Moon, and I go for a Bodos, and then it goes for a Scale Shot. I go for a Roost for sure, and then knock him out with an Ice Fang because I outspeed him. I don't even outspeed, I just survive a Crunch. I knock out this Roaring Moon, and our final opponent will be a Magearna, which I knock out with a Bodos, and we beat Claire. I'm not too sure what's wrong with her, but we beat her at least. From there, we can move on and face off against our rival, which is going to be Blue at Route 22. We're going to clear him down pretty easily, and then face off against Brendan. Brendan's team, it's a little more difficult, but it's, it's still pretty easy and still doable as we brave through with Gale Wings. And that's the last time you see Talonflame, unfortunately, and also Gyarados and Corviknight here as we clear through Victory Road. We're gonna move back into Victory Road afterwards, but we checked this guy. I finally realized is this guy that you check for Lorelai's team, and she has a Swampert today, which I was surprised because I was expecting an Ice team because we have a bunch of bird Pokemon, but I guess she wants her Water team, which is fine. Go back into Victory Road, catch yourselves a Moltres, and then from there, face off against Genesect Raids. The reason why we face off against Genesect Raids is because they have a 1% chance of getting ourselves a Choice Scarf. It doesn't matter if we clear through or not against the Genesect Raids. We're able to get ourselves a Choice Scarf regardless. And once we get 3 Choice Scarves, which takes a little bit, but it's actually not too bad. You gotta reset in front of them, and from there we get ourselves 3 Choice Scarves and then go out and catch a bunch of Pokemon. We catch ourselves a Landorus. I'm not sure why I caught myself a Wu-Chen. I just ran into him, but we caught one as well. And then from there we also catch ourselves a Thundurus and Tornadus, and then go out into the power plant, get ourselves a Zapdos as well. And now we're gonna have to rebuild our team. We're actually debating between Thundurus and also Zapdos because the first Elite Four member we face off against is gonna be Lorelai, and she has a Water team. We want to be very careful of her team. Zapdos does have Boat Beak, and I'm like, that's really good. I can't really do, but he has no physical attack at all. Look at his special attack compared to his physical attack, and I can't actually lean towards one or the other because if I just get Jolly Nature, I'm really reducing his special attack effectiveness. What if I want to use Discharge for something? What if I want to use Zapdos as utility? So it's like, but his attack is so terrible. I gotta boost up speed because a Boat Beak is based off of speed, and if something outspeeds me, Boat Beak's whole point is gone. So I'm gonna stick with Zapdos. My team is gonna be really interesting. I have Gliscor, Togekiss, Landorus, Zapdos, Dragonite, and also Aerodactyl Mega. It's gonna be a cool team, as we're going to start the battle off against our first Elite Four member, which is going to be Lorelai. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Gliscor and Togekiss. We're just going to bait in. I guess we're just going to knock out my Gliscor, I guess. This just father. Knock down the Iron Bundle to low HP, and then go out to my Dragonite to knock him out with... Oh my god, I don't knock him out with extreme speed. But I'm able to knock down the Ludicolo on low HP, and then from there, I guess I knock out the Iron Bundle with extreme speed. Togekiss goes down, which is unfortunate. A lot of my Pokemon do have the Choice Scarf. Landorus, Togekiss, and also Zapdos has the Choice Scarf. Gliscor has the Focus Sash. Dragonite has some kind of item. It's not too useful probably. And the Aerodactyl has the Mega Stone. I go to my Landorus next. I'm able to Earth Power, and yeah, you know what? It works out. I'm able to Extreme Speed, knock out the Ludicolo, Earth Power to Swampert, which works out pretty well. It does a lot of chip damage. I go out to my Aerodactyl next against the Palkia, and then I'm able to Earth Power to knock out the Swampert, Stone Edge into the Palkia to do some chip, and then it's going to knock out my Landorus. And the last 2 members on my team, Zapdos and Aerodactyl, works out pretty well. I'm able to Boat Beak into the Palkia, Iron Head into the Dragonite, which works out as I'm able to flinch the Dragonite. No, I lied. It didn't flinch him at all. It hit my Zapdos, but it works out as I'm able to Boat Beak into the Dragonite, crit into the Genesect to knock him out, and then from there it's a 1v1 with my Mega Aerodactyl against her Dragonite, and I'm able to Iron Head and knock out the Dragonite, secure the win. And I like double battle fights because they go through pretty easily, and you know what? I clutched up at the end. From there, we're going to move on and face off against Bruno next. Bruno is going to be the Fighting type Elite Four member, and he also has infinite Misty Terrain, so we can't status his Pokemon. So we're going to start the battle off against his Urshifu using my Aerodactyl. We don't knock him out on the first turn, but we knock him out on the second turn. We take a close combat, kind of annoying. From there, he's going to switch out to his Necrozma, which is going to be Dustmane. And I switch out to my Gliscor because he has Focus Sash, and he's just going to wait until he attacks me and then counter and knock him out. It's a free kill every time. He goes out to his Iron Balian next, which knocks me out, which is fine. I go out to my Togekiss, which he catches with a Zacian. I'm like, hopefully I can flinch him. He outspeeds me anyways. I'm like, oh, well, that's not great. So Togekiss goes down. I go out to my Landorus next, which will Earth Power and knock out a Zacian. And then from there, switch out into Medicham, which will knock me out with a Fake Out. Go out into my Aerodactyl, which will outspeed him. Do Wing Beat would knock him out, which is pretty free. From there, switch out to his Hawlucha, which would knock me out with a close combat. But I do have a Zapdos in the bag with a Choice Scarf. Boat Beak to knock him out. Pretty simple. And his final opponent will be an Iron Bailing, which outspeed, 2-shot him, and pretty easily we beat Bruno without our Dragonite's help. So our team is pretty solid, pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. From there, we're going to move out and face off against Agatha, and we're going to reset until we get flinch down the Crocodile. We want to avoid the Stealth Rocks, obviously, because you got to play to your advantage. We're able to knock out the Crocodile with 2 flinches. From there, you can switch out to a Calyrex, which I'm like, I got to switch out into my Gliscor, which has Focus Edge. We'll unload the speed of it, and then for some reason, she keeps going for Nasty Plots. She can't kill me, as we're able to outspeed her eventually and knock him down to red HP. I go out to my Zapdos next, and then I knock her out with a Bolt Beak, which is really nice. She goes out to her Mewtwo, and Bolt Beak does not do a lot of damage. I wonder if I had any more physical attack, it would have done a lot more. Anyways, I go out to my Aerodactyl to knock out the Mewtwo. From there, she switches out into her Flutter Mane and knocks me pretty much out. Yeah, she knocks me out, unfortunately. I should have gone for Bodos, unless it got Levitate. Maybe got Levitate. Anyways, I go out to my Togekiss, and then Air Slash into the Yveltal. I'm like, yo, I gotta switch out. I switch out to my Dragonite, and then I'm able to Dragon Rush into him. I take a Dark Hole, and it's gonna knock me out. I also go out to my Togekiss to Air Slash into the Yveltal, eventually knock him out, which is really nice. Actually, no, she switched out into your Victini for some reason, and allows me to Air Slash, flinch her down, and knock out the Victini. We also knock out the Flutter Mane and also the Yveltal as we clear through Agatha with our Togekiss at the end. Kind of weird battle at the end, but it works out. From there, we're going to move out and face off against Lance next. Lance is going to be the 4th Elite Four member in the game. He has this weird power to stop you from removing hazards. Not like I'm going to remove hazards either way, but we're going to start the battle off against him using my Aerodactyl to Iron Head into his Glimmora. We're going to flinch his Glimmora magically, and then we're going to activate Toxic Spikes from the Glimmora, which is fine because we're all flying type Pokemon, so we're not going to get Toxic. She then switched out into his Dialga, which is annoying, so I got into my Landorus. I really thought this Earth Power was going to do a lot more damage. It didn't, so my Landorus goes down. Go out to my Togekiss, which will flinch down. No, it did not flinch down the Dialga. It gets knocked out, but it left him at 1 HP. As I go out to my Gliscor and then activates him to switch out. I go out to my Zapdos against his Arceus Fairy, and then Bolt Beak to, I was really hoping Bolt Beak would do more. So it's a really scuffed start to the battle, but I think we can recover. As we knock out the Arceus Fairy, I go out into my Gliscor against the Dragonite, which will take an extreme speed and then boost up the damage. I'm able to Ice Fang into him, and then he goes for a Dragon Dance again, and I knock him out with Ice Fang. Stupid AI, I'm not gonna lie. From there, I go for a counter against the Melmetal and, yeah, reflect the Ice Punch again. If he went for double Iron Bash, I think he would knock me out, but it's not 4 times weak, so he didn't go for it. He then goes out to his Ray, which would knock out my Gliscor, but my Mega Aerodactyl would not knock him out in 1 shot. But in 2 shots, I land every Stone Edge. I'm really good at landing Stone Edge for some reason. We knock out the Ray, and then his next opponent will be a Glimmora, which we Iron Head, knock out, and his final opponent will be that 1 HP Dialga, as we're able to knock out as well, and we're able to beat down Lance. So yeah, that was pretty free. From there, we can move on and face off against our rival Blue. Blue has constant rain, which is kind of annoying. His Primordial Sea. We start the battle off against him using my Zapdos to scare his Kyogre. It always works like this. Scares his Kyogre into his Eternatus, which works out. I go out to my Landorus, psyching into the Eternatus, and survive by Draco Barrage from him. From there, I don't know why I greeted. I thought he's gonna stay in and just let me kill him. Didn't work out. He goes out to his Arceus, Extreme Killer. So I go out to my Aerodactyl, go for a Mega Stone Edge into him, and then for some reason, he lets me kill him. So that works out. From there, he switched out to his Eternatus, which I'm pretty sure outspeeds me. So I switch out into my Landorus. Well, caught him with a Thunder, so that works out pretty well. And then double, well, finally some big moves. Go out to my Zapdos, and then unfortunately, the big move got too greedy. As I go for a Bolt Beak, he switches again into a Swampert. Oh my god, this is Gen 4 OU all over. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. He caught me with a Swampert. I didn't know he's gonna switch. I thought he was gonna just let me kill him. For some reason, he went out to the Swampert. I go out to my Landorus, and then he's gonna Stone Edge and knock me out. But I go out to my Gliscor, which will counter and knock him out just the same way as the Melmetal, and knock him out. Also knocks me out because I do get Frostbitten. So unfortunately, my Gliscor goes down. But I go out into my Dragonite against his Necrozma Duskwings, I think. Duskwings. I go for a Dragon Rush against him, but he's an Ultra Necrozma, so I one-shot him. He then goes out to his Kyogre, which I'm like, oh, Zapdos is really tempting here. Oh, I go out to Zapdos. Take an Ice Beam for some reason. Bolt Beak to one-shot him, finally. He goes out to his Eternatus. I also Bolt Beak, does not kill him. Wow, that thing tanks it. I go out into my Dragonite next to Extreme Speed to knock out the Eternatus G-Max. And his final Pokemon, which I didn't realize was his Walking Wake. I go out to my Togekiss just to flinch him down for funds, just like always, as we beat down Walking Wake. And I was like, oh, it's no Xerneas this time. So, works out. We beat down Blue, and this challenge was really, really easy at the end. At the start, really difficult. At the middle part, really difficult against Brock. Once we get like the last bit of our team, like Mega Aerodactyl is a big saver for our team. Togekiss Choice Scarf, Dragonite multi-scale is really good. Gliscor is just consistent. Landorus is really good as well, and Zapdos surprisingly came in clutch a lot of times, so I gotta give it to my team. We had a really good end, and we actually cleared through the Elite Four in like 20 minutes, I think, so it's crazy. Anyways, that will be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys next week for another monotype video. I'm really enjoying these. I'm not just flushing them out just to flush them out. Because they get views. I really enjoy these monotypes. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys will stick all the way to the end like this, but I really enjoy these monotypes. I'm really excited to do more. Not really excited to use like ice or rock, but we'll get to that point eventually. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name has been Alpha, and I hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.